Thanks for tuning in to Card Subject to Change, part of the For Frequency's Sake podcast network. On this episode, we're saddling up with the boss of the plains, the Corn Belt Cowboy, the One Called Manders. Now let's go to the sheriff of the podcast, the Honorable Mick Bull.
That's right. I'm sheriff around these parts. Yeehaw. No. All kidding aside. All kidding aside. Welcome to the Card Subject to Change podcast. Joining me are my trios partners and co-hosts, the Wizard CZ, and of course, Stripes. But let's get all the ballyhoo and the hellos out of the way because, man, we are joined again by one of our favorites, and he's calling in, and this guy's a hot ticket. He's in high demand right now, but, man, we got him on Card Subject to Change. He is the boss of the plains. He is the One Called Manders. Manders, how are you doing?
Dude, I'm great, man. Thanks for having me on. What's up, y'all?
Hey,
what's going on, Manders?
Show.
Pleasure to have you.
That was a badass intro.
Thank you.
You are the first to experience the video entrance, and
yeah.
that was obviously a custom intro for you, sir.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna jump right in. When we talked to you last back in October, you were puddle jumping all across the country. How's your schedule looking right now?
It's been kind of light, and I say that it's only been a damn week because I busted my head open and had to get 12 stitches. So this was like my first week off in like 18 weeks, which is fucking nuts to some people. So this past weekend was a little weird for me, just sitting at home trying to figure out what to do.
No doubt.
But
you're kind of getting antsy and you got to do something around the house.
So I cleaned my gutters and like hung out with the lady and hung out with the dogs and probably drank too much Busch Light, but that's kind of normal. So.
Did you?
So speaking of the 12 stitches, do you want to go into that story right now, or do you want to save that for later? What do you think?
Let's get it the fuck out of the way.
All right, let's do it.
Rip the Band-Aid off.
Let's rip it off right away, boys. Here we go.
So I was in a match. It was me and Mance versus SGC versus Mike Hartenbauer and Mike Bennett. And they're a bunch of pussies.
Now this was for Dreamwave Wrestling, correct?
Yes, I was getting there.
Okay.
It's for Dreamwave Wrestling, which is a great promotion out in LaSalle, Illinois. Actually, Dreamwave and AAW were one of my first ever like indie shows as a wrestler for Black and Brave. I think it was the AAW show, and I think it was like DJZ versus what the hell is his name? He was a WWE wrestler, Adam Rose.
Yeah, yep.
Yes.
Mr. Bunny himself.
He was called something else, but that was like the main event, which is crazy. But anyway, so yeah, I had a match with these two guys, me and Mance, and it was Dreamwave let the fans know that it's going to be a little violent, it's going to get a little bloody, and it's rated R, so kids, if you don't want to be there, there's a bunch of signs all around the the venue, which was super sick, which everybody needs to do, which I think is genius. But anyway, so we got real violent, we got real crazy, and it just four guys just trying to kill each other, and I got hit with a door in my head, and the edge of it kind of split my head open, and shit happens, right? No big deal.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But,
Yeah.
I was bleeding a lot. I was already bleeding a lot to begin with. And I'm trying to tell Mance, hey, let's rush this. Let's go. Because my head is busted open. And he didn't realize that my head was busted open. He just thought he was just like, oh, yeah, Steve's got great color. He looks good.
Yeah, more color. Let's go.
He was just thinking no shit, you're busted open. But he didn't realize my head's you could see my skull kind of thing.
Oh,
so
shit.
He cuts like a 15-minute promo about Tony Khan and Mike Bennett and AEW, which is great. But also I'm like, man, dude, let's go. So it was pretty funny.
So now, was that the first time you've worked with Mike Bennett or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've never worked Mike Bennett before. I've been on a bunch of shows with Mike Bennett. I did one of his seminars like I want to say like 2 years ago. It was probably a year ago.
Right.
One of the
Dude.
two, but it was for Magnum Pro Wrestling in Omaha, which is where Jason Strife used to run. Rest in
Yep.
peace.
Yes.
That was the first time I met Mike Bennett, and Mike like somehow knew who I was, which I thought was sick.
Yeah.
Or surprised and everything, and then we kind of hit it off, and then the rest is history. But yeah, he was sorry and everything, which he didn't have to be. And I just looked at him and I said, "Bro, I'm all good, man."
Yeah, things happen. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now, were
shit
you guys in the middle of the card, or did they kind of put you at the end, or?
I think we were semi-main.
Okay, yeah, because I know with sometimes with companies like that, they like to put the hardcore aspect at the end of the night, or
half main or the main
as like kind of like a hardcore, quote unquote dark match,
Yeah.
But that's cool. That's cool. Yeah.
So what kind of recovery time frame do you have for that for your head being busted open?
Oh, I mean, I get him out Wednesday. I'm still gonna be a Revolver Saturday.
Of course.
Hell yeah.
There you go.
So I don't. It's not that bad. I mean, I say that I'm watering this down, but on the picture though, it does look really bad. But that's because they like just kind of cleaned it off and just put it on, and like there's
Right.
still like a lot of blood around, so like it looks like way worse than it is now. It's like it's really healed up and everything. I mean, it's not like I'm glad they didn't put staples in it, because I think I would have a train track on my fucking head. But
Right.
stitches, which I was surprised they were even allowed to do or could do, but they did, and it's been nice. So yeah.
And
So
luckily,
I
it
wanna-
wasn't
oh.
like right across the front of your face. I mean, it is
Yeah.
kind of in the back of your head.
Yeah. I mean,
It doesn't mess with this too much.
no, yeah. Even though that wasn't a meal ticket anyway, but we make it. It's all good. It's all good.
Well, we talk about your injury with your gastric head. Let's touch real quick on the Second Gear crew and your fellow buddy Matthew Justice. He is out, I believe. Is it the broken wrist? Is that correct? Or broken hand?
Yeah. So he had like he broke his hand, but like he didn't really like break his wrist. I'm trying to remember exactly what it is. It's one of his bones in his hand that he broke, but it's not like super critical or anything.
Sure.
I mean, I know it's still like, it still sucks, but the main thing for him was he got MRSA, or he got an infection in his hand.
Yeah.
That was the reason, honestly, why he had to stay in the hospital for a week and like all that kind of stuff. So yeah, he's kind of all banged up right now. So
I want to talk.
Hopefully, Manser doesn't get banged up, or
I hope not. I'm gonna knock on wood on that one. He already got hurt. He messed up his leg like a year ago.
So talking on the Second Gear crew, tell us how that came together. How did you three meet? How did you three get to form a trio?
So I'm trying to think. Like it's been so long. It's almost like we've been friends since day one. But no, that's not the case. We just were on a lot of shows together. Like we were on IW Mid South a lot. We were in AIW a lot, and that's kind of when it all kind of started. SGC was in AIW in Cleveland, where we just were always on the same shows, and like we all wrestled each other, and like it was always insane, and we always like hung out after and drank beer and raised hell, and like it's almost like Bone Street Crew in a way, where like we were just all boys that like we weren't very. We were all different, but at the same time, I mean, like me and Mance are very similar, but like character wise, we're all kind of different in a way. And then we all of a sudden, I think like almost like during the pandemic, basically, we decided like, what if we put this on camera? So then it all started. It really all started at AIW, and then then it's flourished everywhere, and mainly it's at GCW and stuff. But yeah,
Hell yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Now, I know you were mentioning about a wrestling Revolver a little bit ago. Tell us about Crash Jackson. I saw a match with you and Crash Jackson.
Yeah,
Big Hoss battle.
Yeah.
That's one of Nick Bull's favorite ones, man. The Hoss fights.
I fucking hate that term, though. If you want me to be honest, I fucking hate it. It's like what actually is a Hoss? Like, how do you consider a Hoss? Like,
I've always considered a Hoss like the biggest, baddest ass. And if you get two big badasses going against each other,
yeah,
that's the way I've always associated.
So how about this? What about two meaty men slapping meat? How's that sound?
I hate it too. I hate all of them.
what would you?
I also get it. I get it. I think it's like I've said it before because everybody else fucking says it. But no, Crash is sick, man. So Crash is a guy. He's from like Kentucky. I used to live with him back in like 2018 in like Dayton, Ohio. When we lived with Sammy. And I mean, I met him at this place in Kentucky, and then he moved out, to Dayton when I moved in, and then we always hit the roads together. Like when I used to live out there, we used to do these loops where like it was like Ohio on, we would do Rockstar Pro on Wednesdays, and then do Ian's on Thursdays, and Indiana, and then Friday, like every first of the month on Fridays, like Rockstar would do these pay-per-views. But yeah, I got to really know Crash a lot in my beginning years, and he's always been a tough son of a bitch, and he's always been like a hard worker and a good dude, and he's one of those dudes too. Like he's deceiving. Like you look at him and you're like, because he's not really that tall. He's not really a tall guy, but like when he's a wide, girthy.
Oh yeah.
Son of a bitch, and he's really agile. Like you wouldn't think it. Like some of his like taker dives he does, and just some of these moves that he can do, and these flips and certain things like that. Like you just wouldn't expect it. So, he's a grinder, man. He's a guy that like he loves wrestling, and I like people like that. So he's one of them.
Well, since we've got you on here, Manders, and you don't like the term Hoss fight or big men slapping.
If we're talking Waylon, I like it.
Right, with Waylon, of course.
Yeah.
Is there a term we could come up with on this show with you that would be appropriate when two big men get it on?
Well, you put it like that, I don't know.
Well, I'll let you take it where you want, but I'm talking about we're trying to come up with something here for Hoss fight.
I don't know. So this is why I hate it. Let me tell you why. This is why I hate it.
Absolutely.
Because like I feel like it's overused, right? Everybody says it. And it's like, okay, what is a Hoss technically? And when you put it in the way you put it, it makes sense. But I know damn well everybody else doesn't think that. I think it's like it's basically like you're either like a super jack guy or you're a super fat guy. So it wide ranges from that. And then it's like, okay, then is it heavyweights? And then it's like, okay, then what's a heavyweight? And then it's like, okay, is it from 250 to 350 pounds? I would think so, right? But then it's like you get these dudes that are like they're not even hosses at all, like people that are maybe less than 250 or whatever they call it that, or it's I don't know. I just kind of I like similar matches, like or similar style matches, and I feel like the indies do that a lot, but it's almost to the point now where it's like too overdone. I would love to see now like more styles make fights because that's kind of how it is. But nowadays everybody does everything, so it's kind of That's my rant. That's my rant for today. Happy Monday.
No,
I love it.
I'm glad we went down that because I mean, I understand where you're coming from. Where what essentially is a Haas, and we need. You're right. Styles do make fights, and you need that.
I think
I'm
balance
totally
is
with you
key.
in that corner.
Balance is key.
Absolutely.
Of course.
So that's why I hate doing them, because it's like sometimes it's like all I do is do them. Or there was a time period where that's all I did. I was like, "Fuck, man, this sucks. I can't even do half the things I want to do," or just the other way around, maybe, or just stuff like that. And it's just like, give me something different. But
I love how you said how you hated that term or didn't like it, and I like that. I'm a wrestling fan. Never stepped in a ring. And there are terms that like I hear and I'm kind of like cringeworthy.
Like what?
I'm getting to it. I'll tell you. I'll tell you. But what else besides Haas fight kind of makes you go, ugh?
Damn, you put me on the spot. I don't really know. It's one of those things that once I hear it, I'll say it. I don't know.
CZ, right you got one? Stripes, you got one?
I definitely have one. I'm glad it's not used as much as it used to be, but every time Michael Cole would say the word vintage, it just got so old and so overused. And now I'll say it as a joke, but if he could never say the word vintage again, it would be too soon.
I like
fair
it.
Enough.
I
That's
get
fair.
it. I remember when Michael Cole did that.
So I know for me, this is probably something stupid and minute, but back in the day, everybody Hulk Hogan, brother. I like to use brother like to a certain extent, but to people that are like that mean a lot to me. Like
right.
It gets thrown around way too much. I'm like in the wrestling business, especially, like it's just everybody throws it.
To you, it's
vintage
a term
stripes.
of endearment. To you, it's a term of endearment, and then it's thrown around. What do you think about like Riddle's bro? Is that okay?
That's okay, I guess. But I think
a little
brother,
bit different when you think about it.
Right. You're like, bro, what's up?
And that like right Surfer. There, that's vintage Stripes right there with his brother.
Well, that's vintage Stripes with the cutoff shirt, man.
That's right. That's right.
That's on show.
No, man.
He does got a cutoff right now. Are you doing?
I do. Yeah. Got off of work not too long ago, so yeah.
He worked all day. It's time to relax.
I feel
That's right.
I feel that. I get it.
Speaking of working all day, Manders, I wanna ask you about GCW and your time in LA. Talk about that for a bit.
It was a fucking nightmare.
I
was in Los Angeles, dude. I hated it. No, I'm kidding. It was all right. I always have like all the times I go to LA, it's never a good time. Whether I think it all started in 2015 when I went to the fucking Rose Bowl and got our balls kicked. Like, I think it all started there. But funny story though with that. So in 2015, we stayed at the Marriott in LA, and when I went to go see George, because George was there, we went to Mania and stuff. And I only did night one instead of night two because I didn't want to be there that long because LA is really expensive, and I don't got money like that. Or the patience. Anyway, I'm in this elevator. I'm in this hotel, and I go up the escalator, and I'm just like, wow, this like looks really familiar. And then I saw George, and then we hung out, and then we went downstairs to the car as we were going or whatever. And he goes, "Do you not recognize this hotel?" And I was like, "Oh shit, this is the hotel we stayed in 2015." I just like completely like it's just crazy how time goes by like that, So, but no, I was sick. Like me and Manson Justice, we had a sick match, and we wrestled these dudes from DDT, and
Mhm.
it was like Chris Brooks and these other two guys, and it was freaking rad. It was awesome. I loved it. It was honestly like, I'm not trying to say this, but I'm going to say this. It was the best damn match of that whole entire collective weekend, bar none. And
Hell
No,
yeah.
I agree.
it was really awesome. Um, should have been on spring break, but that's all right.
It's all right. So how many matches overall, like over the whole weekend, did you end up having? I mean,
Dude,
you always
that was
hear
the
of
only
somebody.
one I did. That was the only
That was
one
the
we
only
did.
one.
That was the only one we
Wow.
did. That was the only one we did. It was weird. It was weird because I feel like, let's put it like, when I first started, and I started doing Mania weekends. Of
Mhm.
course, I wanted to be the guy that has like 8+ matches and 12+
Oh yeah.
matches and all that stuff, and like, that's cool and that's what you want. But at the same time, like, I guess as I've gotten older, I kind of don't really care about that as long as I make enough money from that one match and
Yeah.
just kind of enjoy myself. But like, does it really matter? I was close. I almost did the WrestleCon Super Show. It was supposed to be Josh Alexander, and who was it? It was Josh Alexander and Tom Lawler versus Brian Keith and Kenta. Right, sick match, right? And
Wow.
obviously Josh gets hurt,
Yep.
right? So then the promoter or the booker for the card, he was hitting me up because he was like, I think it'd be cool if we did a cowboy and a cowboy on the other team. And that would have been kind of sick. Just the fact of like,
The boss of the plains and the bounty hunter.
yeah, and then it's also like, I'm teaming with Tom, and me and Tom Waller are pretty cool. We're not like
Yeah.
best friends or anything, but me and Tom, like, we like each other's company, and I think Tom's a badass because Tom is a badass.
Oh, for
And,
sure.
and then on the other side, you have Brian Keith and Kenta. It's like that. It would have been sick, but I think they had Christopher Daniels, which I don't blame them at all. So
Oh yeah.
I enjoyed my time though. I hung out with Effie a lot because me and Effie are pretty tight. So it was great.
Yeah.
It was a good time. But after the weekend, I was like, I'm ready to go. I didn't stay there that long. I was only there for like 4 days or 3 days or whatever. I went to this Western wear store. It was called who's it called? What's it called? Something with a J. It's like Justin's or Joe's or something. And I got a couple shit. And it was kind of expensive, but it was kind of worth it. So
Was it like in Pretty Woman when they go shopping, he takes her shopping?
yeah.
I'll take one of those and 5 of those and 6 of those. I mean,
So check this out.
you got to stock up, right?
That's funny you say that movie. So I've never seen this movie. I've heard about it. And my girlfriend Brittany is like, this is like my favorite movie ever. And we watched it like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it literally was like, it was an awesome movie. I loved it. So,
But I'm glad I didn't know if you would know the reference when I threw it out.
I get the reference now because she goes there first, and they like absolutely shit on her, right?
Yep.
And then she tells her client or whatever you want to call him, or boyfriend at the end, I guess, or whatever it is, because he's a hooker or whatever. But she tells him or whatever. And so when they go back and do it, he kind of like, it was great. It's a great movie. Yeah. Great movie.
There you go, folks. That's Manders' recommendation for the evening.
Pretty Woman.
I guarantee Manders has never been compared to Julia Roberts on a shopping spree. No.
I don't think I've ever been compared to her ever. So
First time for
right
everything.
here on Guard Subject to Change. So
Yes, sir.
Me and Pretty Woman. I love it. I'll take it.
So before we move off of your time in LA, I want to ask, what was the crowd like? Does it have a different feel than anywhere else since it's WrestleMania weekend? Or is the crowd kind of the same for you?
When we did that DDT GCW show, it felt like, because we were also in the Ukrainian Culture Center, and we've been there like 1,000 times, so it kind of felt like a regular LA show. But like when spring break happened, I got to see some of the show for spring break, and there was a crap ton of people, and it did feel like Mania weekend, and that aspect. Um, not to downgrade the show that I was on. There was still a lot of people. Um, it's weird. I'm in a weird stage right now where like stuff is cool and shit's cool, and I get excited and I get like anxious and nervous in a way, but at the same time I don't, because it's just another. This is another time to you're just at work and you're ready to kick some ass and whoop some names and stuff like that. And I don't know if that's because of football, just playing in front of 80,000 people all the time or
Right.
whatever. But I never really get like that. I wish I did, honestly.
Manders, I got a couple questions here. You mentioned Effie. I would love to hear a good Effie story, like safe to tell. Okay, I'm not a good because you said you're tight with him, and hey, he's got a hell of a following. And two, you said you try not to get excited anymore. What was your like, oh shit moment at WrestleMania? The week or the whole weekend? What was like, wow, this is really cool?
It was probably when I went to WrestleMania, because I never been to SoFi Stadium, and that stadium is sick, and it's brand new too. And it's just, I sat there, and when John Cena came out, I was like, holy shit, this is sick. This is John Cena. You know what I mean? Like, but an Effie story where I can say it on the air, I don't know, dude. No,
we'll skip over that one for right now.
No, I got one for you. I got one. There's so many.
Yeah.
But so when he came to Iowa City, and I wrestled him, he came to Wildwood, and he stayed at my house. So after I don't know if it was after the show. I think it was after the show. After the show, we went out. I was like, I gotta take him to Iowa City. Of course,
sure.
We gotta take him.
Oh yeah.
And of course, because Effie's gay, right? So I was like, we gotta take him to Studio 13. Gotta take him. And I've been to Studio 13 a time or two when I was in school, just because why not? Like, it's one of those things where, like, before my senior year, I was like, I have to go to every bar.
Sure.
And it's a crazy ass bar. It's crazy. And we went and had a good time and everything. And the best was the next day when Effie woke up. Effie slept in my bed with me, which was kind of weird. But it was kind of it doesn't matter because he's like my brother,
Sure.
And,
yeah.
He wakes up, he's hungover, and he's like, I need a cigarette. And I was like, well, I don't got any cigarettes, but I got dip for you. And he puts 2 pouches in, and he goes outside. He goes outside on my deck when I used to live in Iowa, and he's basically in the nude. It's just him and his boxers. And I have the picture. of this. He's just out on the patio, just in his underwear, just looking out at the road. There's no big deal, and it's like the greatest like pose ever. And I looked at him.
That's amazing.
I looked at him and I said, "You all right, man?" He goes, "What's the big deal? There's no big deal." And I was like, "Wait, what?" I was like, "There's nothing. There's no big deal. We're all good. I was just asking if you're all right." And he's, it's the greatest picture. I'll send this. It's so great.
I love the fact he rolls over and asks you for a cigarette and you hand him some dip. That's
there's some great Effie stories, man. Like, I remember one time we were in Dallas for a GCW show, and Effie always gets rentals because he's Effie. That's like his luxury.
Yeah, of course.
And I wouldn't say Effie's a really good driver, but he knows how to get to point A and point B real quick. So we're on like the interstate, and he's just bobbing and weaving, drive by everybody. And it's like me, Manser, and Allie, and we're all just like, we're gonna die in this car. He's driving like a maniac. So there's a lot of stories, man. He's a crazy son of a bitch, dude.
And I probably worded that. I tried to dance around the wording of that when I asked you those questions, and I seen your reaction. I'm like, oh no, I didn't mean it in that way, shape, or form. So thank you for taking.
And if you listeners haven't seen Effie and Alley catch versus the Pheromones from WrestleMania weekend, woo!
Yeah, that was on that same show for DDT GCW. It was It was wild.
That was wild. So there's your homework, listeners. Go back and watch that match.
Yeah, go watch that match. It's wild.
Go watch the whole show. The whole show.
The whole show is good.
Yeah, the whole show is fire. Yeah.
God damn.
I don't know that there was really a bad show at all of WrestleMania weekend, but that show was fantastic for sure. I agree.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. They're really like we really did like GCW The Collective. We really did like really good shows that whole weekend. It was probably like one of the best weekends that we probably had in a while.
I slapped my money down and watched all the shows and really enjoyed it. I think that Ukrainian Cultural Center is just like a kick-ass venue.
It is.
Obviously, I haven't been there, but on TV or however it comes across as like a really kick-ass place.
It's gorgeous.
It's more beautiful if you see it live, which is crazy. So, yeah, if you guys go, you should.
How did you get that ticket so close at WrestleMania?
Because I'm friends with a top NFL superstar.
Okay, that's kind of what I was like. I bet he's there maybe with Kid. I'm like, you post that pic. I'm like, damn, Manders is living high on the hog.
So he tricked me. So we're there, right? And he keeps like going to the bathroom, and I'm like, why is he going to the bathroom so much? And we're like halfway through the show, and he comes back and goes, "Hey, I gotta tell you something." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I haven't been going to the bathroom." And I'm like, "Okay, so what are you doing?" He's like, I'm about to run in on this segment. And I was like, "Shut up." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm serious." And I was like, "No, you're not." And he's like, "Yes, I am." And I was like, "Really?" And he's like, "Really?" And I was like, "Okay." And he's like, "Yeah, I went." So he went backstage to like, because they got a bunch of practice rings. So he went out and like did some of the practice rings with like the Miz and stuff and Pat McAfee, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm about to do this spot." And he goes, "You think if I clothesline them or clothesline the Miz, you think that's a good move?" And I was like, "Bro, of course it's a good move." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, I figured you'd like that. I'd do it for you." He was like, I did that move for you. And I was like, "That's cool." So when he did that whole thing, that was pretty sweet. And then after the show, we finally went to the back, and we were just hanging out with Pat McAfee on his bus drinking beer. And I was like, "This is freaking weird and cool at the same time." So I guess that was one of those moments where I was like, "Wow, this is actually sick." So just drinking beers with Pat McAfee, and we were just telling stories about Pat. It was kind of cool.
That is
awesome.
cool. That's cool.
It was cool.
Yeah.
Like Pat McAfee is like you see him, right? And you're just like, damn, he really is like a superstar. But at the same time, he's like, you can also be like, he's one of the boys, and he definitely is one of the boys.
Sure.
And it's awesome. Pat McAfee's awesome.
Well, hearing you say that, adds merit to it because he seems like a legit dude. He seems like he's, he has his boys with him. He's, he's good to his, he's good with his boys and stuff. So that's cool that you said that on here. And wow, not many people probably. I mean, you probably didn't wake up that morning thinking you'd be drinking beers on Pat McAfee's bus at the end of the night.
Not at all. I had no idea. All that was happening, and it was cool. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
I know we had you on last fall, October, September time frame, and I asked you at that point, where's the One Called Manders going to be a year from now? You said without a doubt, Japan. And I find it interesting with the GCW tour happening overseas, and they've got a spot in Japan. Is the One Called Manders going to be on that show? Or maybe we should wait.
I haven't heard anything from Brett. But as I will take a quote from Sting. Um, was Sting always says, "Never say never," or everything's unsure about him, or So
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
you
Yeah,
never
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
You never know, man. It would be sick.
I I know when GCW put out the tweet a couple weeks ago, who should they take with them to Japan? I know card subject to change. First on our list, One Called Manders.
Yep. Yep. I know they're doing multiple tours there, from what I heard. So if it's not that one, it's bound to happen at some point. Um, it is crazy though. Like a year ago, thinking thinking other things, and then you see something now that's happened that is pretty cool. I never thought I'd be in MLW. Tell you that.
Yeah.
Doing stuff there is pretty cool. Not signed or nothing, but just to do stuff with them and have all these future dates with them, that's pretty sick. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
talk about the MLW run you're going to have a little bit, and how fans can find you when they're looking for that. I know it's not the easiest thing to find.
no,
I think isn't it on Reels TV?
on Reels
Yeah.
TV.
Yep. Okay.
And they just did this whole thing. I think Reels is doing like merging stuff with Peacock, which
Yep.
I was kind of concerned about that. Where it's like, does that mean we're still going to be on it? You know what I mean? Because especially
Right.
with the whole WWE stuff, and
Right.
at this moment we are. So maybe WWE was cool with it. I guess I don't know, or maybe it was
Yeah,
just
that'd be cool.
you can't do nothing. So I know we're doing a whole another 10-week thing for Reels, and that's sweet. If you got Roku or Fire Stick, if you just download the Reels channel, and if you got like a provider or a TV provider or whatever,
Sure.
and, I mean, I don't have cable or nothing, but my dad does, so I use it.
Sure.
And,
Sure.
if you got
Yeah.
stuff like that and it's easy to find, it's a pretty sick channel. Like I really watch a lot of like patrol, like live patrol and cops and all that. And
Yep.
Sure.
Yep.
it's kind of cool, like having getting that, and then we're right after that show, and then we'll get like casual fans. Like we're hitting like 200,000 like views and stuff, which is not
Nice.
that many, but at the same time, it's still a lot, and it's more than
It's a start.
there was for a while. We were doing better ratings than Impact Wrestling, which was kind of sick. So that's kind of cool. MLW sweet, man. Like I did a we're just doing matches with Raven.
That's awesome.
Like Raven's not wrestling, but he's still in the match, as a manager and everything, and just listening to him and seeing like his viewpoint on things and stuff like that, and what you need to work on, and or this was good and that was good, and then just hearing his opinions and stuff like that. It's pretty sick, man. Like here's a guy that's been wrestling for a long ass time at a very high level. Seen a lot of people and stuff like that. That's pretty sweet. And we did like the battle riot, which is like a rumble in a way.
Yep.
And I did a spot with John Morrison, which is like,
That's awesome.
here's a guy
That's awesome.
here's a guy that's been everywhere, seen everything.
Yeah.
And now he's doing boxing, which is sick. So
Johnny Everywhere.
Johnny everywhere.
Yeah, he won a match at Bloodsport on that GCW week.
He sure did. Yeah.
So
He
he's
sure
Johnny
did.
Bloodsport, Johnny Knockout. And then on that Dreamwave show where you got your head busted open on, he was Johnny Car Accident and still made the show, which is a testament to John Hennigan, I think.
How crazy is that? So he's in a car accident in LA, but then he misses his flight, but then still finds a way to get a plane ride to LaSalle, Illinois, out of all places, and still finds a way to make the show. Talk about a performer right there, dude. That's a worker.
That's a road warrior right there.
That's a road warrior right there.
So I know we're talking about people, you work with them, MLW, but some wrestlers have kind of like a bucket list of who they want to work with. Do you have a list kind of who you would like to work with maybe in the future, or kind of?
Yeah, when I first started, I was more into this kind of stuff where like I was like, I just want to wrestle this guy. and I feel like I kind of got to do that a lot.
Right.
And now it's kind of, I just want to get paid and just whoop people's asses, so I don't really think about it anymore. But if
All
I
right.
had to give you one, I think Jacob Fatu would be sick.
Yes.
Okay.
I never
Yeah.
wrestled him, and me and Fatu are pretty tight. He hangs out with the SGC guys a lot. He's kind of
Okay.
a SGC honorary member in a way when we
Right.
get to see him, and he just tells great stories, and he's a badass wrestler. And I've been on shows with him, and I've gotten to work like Hammerstone and some of the MLW guys, and that's a guy I would like to wrestle.
Yeah, I was at the Dreamwave show 2 shows ago. You were on that show. Raven made an appearance on that show, and Hammerstone was on that show. So I guess that was my first up and close with MLW. The champ had the championship belt there and stuff. And a really cool guy.
Yeah,
if you ever
Hammer
get a chance
rules, man. He's like
he's such a cool dude.
yeah, he's a guy that like he used to do like a Triple H gimmick because they kind of looked alike, and then he's a Road Warrior too in a way. Not in a way, he is a Road Warrior, where he's been doing it for a long time, and he did it out west, where I feel like out on the West Coast it's kind of harder versus like the Midwest and the East Coast and the South, where all the states are bigger, so it's kind of hard to make rounds. And he found a way to do it, and he's freaking doing it. And we just to tag with him at War Games, with us boys and Hammerstone, was pretty sweet. And sadly he got hurt in the match, but I think he'll be all right. I think he's okay. Kind of a fluky thing too. Like they just like pulled his leg and he just kind of stretched out his groin. But I got to work Hammer at AAW. I think it was the Jim Lynam like first round, which was pretty sweet. And we did the match and it was awesome. And he was like, "Dude, you're freaking awesome," blah blah blah. And I just was like mind blown by that. I try not to think of that kind of stuff. And yeah, I think Fatu would be a sick one.
That'd be a lot of fun.
It would be
I like that dynamic.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I won't say it, but it's 2 bigger badass dudes beating the shit out of each other. So I'm sorry.
So
you can say it. I ain't gonna get it. You know what's a pet peeve? Now that I think about it, what I really like is when wrestlers come out and they say, "Come on, let's go."
Yes, the baby face fire up.
Yeah, the white meat baby face, like, "Come on, let's go, let's go." But we've all been there. I've been there before. You got to start somewhere. So
true.
Yeah.
I wanna take Stripe's question and I want to kind of twist it a little bit here. So you mentioned Jacob Fatu. You wanna get in the ring with him, but everywhere I turn, when I see a Manders video, there's one thing that's consistent with every single video, and that is your arm stretched out, hitting that lethal lariat on everybody. Who that you have not given that lariat to deserves it the most?
Oh God. I'm gonna say Killer Cross or Karen Cross, and this is why I'll say this. This is why I'll say this. So, Kevin, as his real name, he used to come to Revolver a lot. So me and him got to hang out a couple times at Sammy's brother's warehouse, and we'd all drink beer and play Nintendo 64 and all that. And he used to always tell me, like, you doing the lariat. He's like, I think it's sick. I think it's awesome. I think you need to post more about it. And I was like, okay, I will. I'll do it. I'll listen to you. And I've been posting them all the time, right? I post a video, and I feel like in today's social media, like if it's longer than a minute or even 30 seconds, people don't really care. So it's like, okay, here's something you could throw this video out, and it's like less than 10 seconds. So it catches everybody's, we're all kind of scrambled with our, with looking at our phone. And he commented one time, like, kind of like a political, like, I'll vote for Manders and the Lariat any day of the week or whatever. So me saying that, I think hitting the Lariat on Killer Cross would be sick. So
2024 is the next big election, right?
yeah, there you go.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you. No.
Right there.
No,
That's
a campaign shirt would be Manders and Lariat. A combination you can believe in.
I like that. There you go. There we go.
New merch coming to Manders merch table here.
Absolutely, dude. You have a kick-ass new shirt out.
Dude, that shirt's sick.
I'm gonna get it. It's not the typical booger eater black for a wrestling fan.
Yep.
At first glance, it looks like maybe a Columbia shirt. So I mean, it's a kick-ass looking shirt.
It is. I like told the design guy, like, hey, this is kind of the idea, and he was like, cool, I'll play with it. And I was like, okay. So I let him be and do his thing, and then he was like, hey, here's a design idea, and here's like 3 other design ideas I did. And I was like, Jesus, okay. And I looked at all of them; they're all freaking out of this world badass. I didn't pump the other 2 out because I want to wait for it.
Sure.
Yeah. I was just like, damn, man, that's pretty sick. And I'm pretty excited about it. It kind of comes from like Coulter Wall. He's like a big country guy that I like.
I know who Coulter Wall is. I love.
Yeah, I figured you did.
Yep.
And me and my girlfriend, we got to see him. I think it was October.
Okay.
Yeah, it was October. It was around my birthday. I had a show in Denver, and he was playing like Thursday. So like the promoter got to fly me out like the night before, and I got to see him play, and it was super sick. And then after the show, the next day we drove up to Wyoming, which is like 2 hours from Denver. We went to go see Laney Wilson at this bar called the Cowboy Bar, and I've been there before because GCW ran there, and it's a sick bar, and it was freaking awesome. It was an awesome weekend. I enjoyed it a lot. So.
You talk about Coulter Wall there a little bit. That's like the One Called Manders meeting a legit cowboy. Like he is a legit cowboy. He sings songs and has his own cowboy ranch. Like it's real.
Legit as it comes. I'm pretty pumped for his new album in like July. It's like July 14th or something.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. It's crazy. He talks like he's like 50 years old. But he's like 27.
Oh, he's got anybody who's listen to this Coulter Wall, Americana, country musician. He's got one of the most undeniable voices ever. He sounds like he's a 57-year-old grizzled veteran up and down the roads, and he's probably 30 years less than that. Like his voice is amazing.
I'm gonna have to check him out. I definitely will have to.
He's sick, man. It's like. It's like Yellowstone, right? It's like you got cowboy country and all that, but like, damn, it's actually like a really good show. Like you can forget all about that kind of stuff. And Coulter Wall is kind of the same way, where it's like, if you really like music, you'll like Coulter Wall.
Yes.
Very cool. Very cool.
Now we're going to be seeing you here in our backyard coming up Memorial Day weekend, if I'm not mistaken, Manders.
You damn.
Back at the SCW Pro, having an outdoor show at the Beer Stube. What can you tell us about your appearance on that show?
Well, it's gonna
be outdoors, kicking ass, right?
Yeah, kicking ass. There's beer gonna be there, and
always a good time.
Always a good time.
You've got this far off look in your eye. Beer's gonna be there.
Yeah. I'm just thinking of all the times I wrestled there, and just it's kind of always like full circle every time I come back. Or it's just like this is your roots. This is where you started.
Sure.
And, Beer Stew rules, man. Like I always had a great time there.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Can I toss out another T-shirt idea for you, Manders?
Shoot, let it rip.
Lariats and loggers.
Ooh.
I was gonna say I can't do the lariats and light beers. Manser would be upset with me. So lariats and loggers might work.
There it is. Book it right there.
Mance has his new T-shirt where it's like him and the George Jones, like him driving on the lawnmower. That was actually my idea.
That's awesome.
I was gonna do that shirt, and I was sitting there, and I was like, man, as much as I like lawn mowing and mowing the grass and everything like that, and I'm probably more of a George Jones fan than Manser is. I'm gonna tell him that right now. I just was like, this is a man shirt. So I told him about it, and he was like, yeah. He's like, I'm going to do it. And I was like, all right, good. So I better get 2%, motherfucker.
Expecting that royalty check to come in the mail.
You damn right.
Yeah. So speaking of the beer stew, I think if memory serves me correct, last time you were there, you were in a tournament.
Yeah.
You wrestled 3 times that day, 4 times that day?
I wrestled 3 times that day. It was me and Eric Knight, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's his name.
Yep.
And then I wrestled JT.
Yep.
And who's the champ now? And then I wrestled Shug.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, the Shug. That was a great time. It was a good show, and just the bands playing and stuff was pretty sweet.
Oh, that was great. Music and wrestling. Now, is that the first time?
Beer. What more do you want?
Yeah. Exactly. Is that the first time you've ever wrestled multiple times in one day, or is that
no?
Okay.
It was up there though, because that was kind of a hot day. I think if I remember,
it was very hot that day. I do recall that. Yeah,
it was. I think the most I ever wrestled was 5 times in one day.
Ooh.
It was like
that's spread out over a course of one day, correct?
Yeah, it was like Mania. It was the collective in like Indianapolis, like 2020. I think that's when it was.
Mm-hmm.
I had to wrestle 5 times in one day. It was awful. It was fun
terrible.
though, but it was awful.
Oh yeah. You were feeling it probably for a couple weeks after that.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Where like at first like you want to do those kind of things. You want to be like a speedball where you wrestle 10 times in one day, or I think
Holy
Sammy.
smokes,
he
had a big weekend.
Yeah, he did. He always does. He always does. Mike Bailey's one of the. I've gotten to know Mike a lot since he's lived in the States, and he's a weird guy, right? He's very articulate and like a lot of things, and he's a very like he's a simple man in a way. He does his certain things that he likes, and he doesn't really like go outside the box in that, and it freaking works, man. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world, easily. He's doing best of the Super Juniors, which is I always thought he should be in that, and he's getting his flowers and stuff, and he's the man, dude. And I think the record is though. I think it's like Sammy. Sammy had like 12 matches in one day, I think.
Wow.
Or no, maybe not one day. Sorry, it was like 12 matches in like an entire weekend. Something crazy.
Okay. That's still out of there.
Yeah, it was, and I'm probably. It's probably more than 12, but I think if I remember correctly, it's how many it was, which is insane. Sammy Callahan.
Now, that's right, Sammy Callahan. Yeah. Now I know you're a busy man. You work during the day. You do your road warrior on the weekends. Is there anyone that you can tell the fans about that's up and coming that not a lot of people have seen? Someone that you've kind of seen, going to different shows. Is there someone that is up and coming and caught the One Called Manders eye?
There definitely has. I'm trying to think of like 3. I got like 2 in my head.
Okay.
I think Devil Dog's really good.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Besides, we're pretty close, right? Because we like the same things and everything, and he's just a down to earth guy and stuff like that. But man, when he walks out that curtain, dude, he's mean as a rattlesnake, and it's awesome. I think he's a guy that he's honing his craft, right? And I believe he needs to get out more. And I've told him this, and he knows it, and he's gonna, and he is. And there's a couple of shows we're gonna do together.
Excellent.
We're doing a show, and I never been there, and I always wanted to be because I've been reading Hanson's book. Just the whole Amarillo, West Texas area. We're doing a show in like July. I'm doing like me out of all people is going to do a seminar for kids, which is crazy to say.
Wow, that's awesome. And
the promoter asked me some people, and I gave him one of them, and he's one of them, and we're gonna go to West Texas too. We're kind of, Terry Funk and Dory Funk and Hanson and Brody kind of all started, and it's kind of sick to me, and I think it's awesome, and those are like my favorite wrestlers, and I think doing that would be sweet. Another guy though, another guy that just pops in my head is this guy named Alec Price.
Okay.
He's a New England kid, and he's been doing all the GCW shows. He's in the scrambles and all that kind of stuff, and he's a guy that I think he's like the next wave of like this guy. This is the guy, and the dude can wrestle. The dude can go the distance. Like I've seen him do like 50-minute matches, 60-minute matches, and
wow,
and there's not an ounce of tired in that guy's body, and it's crazy.
Very cool.
So those are the two. I'm sure there's others. There's definitely others that catch my eye, but those are definitely two that just keep running in my mind.
Well, we're at just about the hour mark, Mr. Manders, and I want to, before we let you go off the hook here, it doesn't seem like it, does it?
No, it damn doesn't. Sure
Time flies on Card Subject to Change. Before we let you go, I want to ask where we talked about the Beer Stoop show here in the Quad Cities. Where can our followers find you over the next couple of weeks?
So this week I'll be in Iowa. I'll be in Progressive Revolver.
Yep.
I was gonna be at GCW was gonna do like this like festival thing for in Atlantic City on those days, like the 5th and 7th, but it's not happening, I guess, because the music promoter just, I don't know, it just didn't happen. But anyway, I don't know. But no, after that though, I'm in Kansas City on the 13th. I'm wrestling Dak Draper for their Central States title, which is kind of sick. And when you think of Midwest wrestling in St. Louis, Kansas City area, you kind of think of Central States and Harley Race and all that. So that's kind of cool. I think that Thursday before then is a GCW show. I'm on that. It's in Brooklyn. So I got nothing on that Friday. So, but it's that and that.
May 11th.
And then Memorial Weekend. Yeah, May 11th. And then Memorial Weekend, I'm at SCW. And then I think the next day after that, I'm doing H2O. So I'll go back home and then do that. And then I think June is Tournament Survival Weekend. I'll be there. I'm not in TOS. I don't want to be in TOS. I've done TOS before. Kudos to all those guys. They're just a whole nother level.
That is.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the schedule in my head. I think June 9th is like St. Louis Anarchy. I'll be there. Kind of a lot of like East Coast, Midwest stuff. And then I think like August, I'm in the West Coast for West Coast Pro. I'm going to do their West Coast Cup. It's not announced though, but there you go. Which is kind of cool. I like those guys over there. They're out in the San Francisco Bay Area, and they're freaking killing it right now on shows if you watch them on IWTV and stuff. And I think July 8th is MLW's pay-per-view. I'll be there, which is pretty sick because MLW doesn't really do pay-per-views. I think it's on Fight. I think that's what it is. Yeah, dude, it's kind of hopping around.
Just like you were back in October, just kind of all over the map, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's the dream, right? That's what we do.
Well, I want to thank you on behalf of everybody here for coming back on the show. We always love having you on. You're fantastic to talk to. Be sure to send out that Effie picture you were talking about. We want to post that on our page because that's going to be awesome.
I'm gonna post it like right when we get off.
If that's okay. I mean,
no, it is. I think I posted it a long time ago. I'll do it.
Excellent.
Awesome. Well, that's going to wrap things up for us tonight. Thank you so much if you were tuning in live to talk with for our Talk with Manders. Thank you if you're listening after the fact when we get posted. Just to give you a little glimpse behind the curtain, next week is WWE Backlash. We'll be covering that. the following week, another returning friend of the podcast, Mr. JT Energy, has given us a show to review. We're going to talk with him about that and what's going on in his world. Other than that, well, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.